James St. Patrick, you are under arrest for the murder of Special Agent Gregory Knox.
Greg's dead? I didn't kill Greg.
You're under arrest. What? For the murders of Officer Danilo Ramirez and Professor Jabari Reynolds.
All right, so do y'all guys actually think that Rock is gonna actually be in a suit, like in a jumpsuit, I should say? Because you look at everybody from Power, right? From Tariq, Ghost, and Tommy, they was all in jumpsuits, right? It was all in jumpsuits for like different reasons, right? And it does make me wonder as well, like, will we actually see Raquel in a jumpsuit? Because the similarities between like Ghost and Rock is somewhat there, right? When it comes down to story, but it's somewhat in the reverse when you think about it, because it was like, you know, Ghost and Angela, right? Because she basically blew up her whole entire career for James St. Patrick, right? And you look at Detective Howard, where he's not blowing up his career for Raquel, because that whole thing kind of like fizzled out like a long time ago. So it's not like he have any sort of attraction for her. And I highly doubt there will ever maybe be another attraction, because he's not gonna forget the fact is that she sent Kanan, his son, to go shoot and kill him. So he's never gonna forget that. So, and we seeing how, you know, the feds is looking into things, and he's trying his best to, like, you know, throw the feds off his trail and trying to, like, you know, feed them like misinformation. But we know the feds isn't trying to hear any of that. And it does make me wonder as well, like, what's actually gonna happen between everybody, because he's trying to protect Kanan, right? He's trying to protect himself, and then he's trying to make sure there's nothing that gets back to him about whatever Rock is doing, right? So he's trying to like keep things under control, and it makes the story much interesting compared to like in the original Power, where it was complicated between like James St. Patrick and Angela, because Angela loved James St. Patrick, she loved him, but then when she found out he was Ghost, that's when it kind of just like, oh, you know, I can't really be with you, and basically you was like sneaking information and, you know, helping Tommy, and you was, you know, going behind my back. And then that's when it just made things completely worse in the end, because Tommy ended up shooting her even though he was trying to shoot Ghost, right? And what can happen with Detective Howard, that's why I said his death, when he dies, it's going to be really interesting, because it's just like, he can't die now because he has too much information, and he's basically Rock and Kanan's protection. They legal protection from the inside. So I don't really see him dying anytime soon. But the question is like, will he actually get found out? And as I said before, would he lose his badge? Would he actually lose his power? Because the thing is, when we look at like Raquel and Ghost, we gotta ask ourselves this and look at these things, like the similarities between the two and how much they're willing to go when it comes down for the story. Because as I said before, we've already known the fact is that, yeah, Tariq shot and he killed Ghost, and Rock's future is kind of like up in the air right now, either alive or dead, right? And we want to know too, is just like the mistakes that Ghost did in OG Power, will it actually affect like Raquel going forward in the past and what things that she's doing, right? But let's just say like she doesn't end up in like in a jumpsuit or anything, and she figures a way of like outsmarting the feds, right, and making sure the feds like she remains cold. Then wouldn't the question be like, wouldn't she technically be the first Ghost, right? Wouldn't she technically be the first Ghost? Now I don't mean by, you know, killing people and disappearing or any of that act. I'm meaning like, you know, she was on the radar for the feds, right? But then she was able to get off of their radar, right, and make it seem like, oh, she's like a legitimate business person, and she's not involved in that criminal aspect at all. Because you got to keep in mind of this too, it's just that for years nobody knew who James St. Patrick really was. They didn't know like the Ghost part of the things. They didn't really know, because again, Ghost wasn't really in the streets like that. On the other hand, with Raquel, and from what we've seen in the last episode with like Henry Snaps, it's just like people on the streets already know who Raquel is. They already know who she is, right? But it's just that for the feds part, she hasn't built up like a sort of rap sheet where they just like, oh, okay, we know who you are and this and that. Because Future Kanan, he has a rap sheet. Here he has a rap sheet because they was just, okay, he been in prison for I think either 10 or 15 years, right? So he already has like a rap sheet and they already knew who he was. That's why I said it made things interesting even in that, because it was just like when Kanan died, they was like, he has no next of kin. There was nothing. They didn't talk about Lulu. They didn't talk about Marvin. They didn't even talk about Raquel. So, you know, it kind of just like, you know, put things in more of a perspective on how they're going to try to like go forward with this story, like regarding like Raquel and what she's going to be doing, either similar to what Ghost was doing or maybe on the total opposite of what Ghost actually did. And they're going to try to like propel her up to be something different, because I don't know, I feel like, you know, maybe that it could be the case for like Raquel. Like I'm thinking, and I might actually probably agree with y'all on this, where if Ghost died in OG Power, it might make sense for Raquel to actually be even smarter for her to actually still be alive. That's why I say it makes me wonder about that question. If she's still alive despite everything, attempted murders on her life, like attempted murders on her life, feds looking into everything, right, and she doesn't die at all, then wouldn't she technically be a better Ghost? Maybe even a smarter Ghost, right, for not actually getting killed. You know, you can have the feds look into you, but you able to beat the feds, right? But you don't get killed at the end, and somehow you actually get to live. Like, would she actually be the first person to break that stigma of there's only two ways you can actually escape, is either by death or by prison, right? And it makes me wonder about all these things, because like I said, I would not mind her actually being alive. Now, I did make a separate video about this probably like a year ago. Y'all can go check that out in the comment section down below on if she's actually still alive or not. But I'm just saying that how the story is progressing between, well, you know, the story is progressing with like Raquel and, you know, the things that she's actually doing, because when she put the gun in Kanan's back, like I said, it just had me thinking of Ghost, because I was like, oh no, this is some shit he would actually do. Actually, no. Oh my god. See, when Ghost was like intimidating Dre, and he basically set Dre up on some bullshit, cops came swooping in on him. So I'm like, I don't know, it's just like the little things she does kind of maybe would remind you of Ghost. Maybe not everything, but just the little things that she does kind of makes you like, yeah, this is some shit Ghost would probably do. Like, I don't know, maybe Ghost would have done it better, but because you got to keep in mind, this is past Rock. This isn't like Ghost, where Ghost is like 10 steps ahead. You can argue that Rock is like 5 steps. She's like 5 steps ahead, but nonetheless, it's just like she knows how to get the better of her opponent, and she knows how to manipulate the system, just like how Ghost did, to get what she wants. So that's why I say it just makes things interesting for like her character, right? But I do wonder, like, if she ever decides to, or if they do put the jumpsuit on her, then I'll be like, okay, I'll double down on some of my statements here. But if she doesn't at all, she doesn't get the jumpsuit, she don't get arrested on some trumped up charges, and she's actually like going free or whatever, I'm gonna be like, hey, she's probably doing something a tad bit better than what Ghost was doing, just a tad bit better. But again, we're gonna have to like wait and see on much more of her story, because we're already on season 3. We gotta wait until we get like further into the seasons for her to like for us to like fully see what she's capable of and what more can she possibly do. But if she does seep back into the life, sure, right? But you got to keep in mind, it's just like, if a rap sheet does come out about her after her death, possibly, potentially, then sure, again. But again, I'm not seeing it that way. I'm strongly seeing her, you know, doing things completely different from what Ghost actually did, except for the whole governor shit. Like, she's not going to become a politician. We going to scrub that shit out the books. I don't see politician. I just see like maybe local business owner, as we seen with the whole salon that she basically bought the whole salon thing. So I'm seeing her maybe transition to more of a business role, right? If she doesn't get roped back into the whole criminal aspect of things, because remember, at the beginning of it all, Ghost was in the life, but then he met Angela, saw Angela again, and then she found out his secret, and then said, all right, I'm out, I want out. But then he constantly kept being drawn back in, the way how Rock might be probably like drawn back into things, and we just gonna have to like wait and see on what's going to be the outcome on her development. But I'm thinking if she is moving the way I'm thinking she is moving, then yeah, she probably might be able to surpass Ghost here. She might be. Like I said, she's 5 steps. Ghost was 10 steps. But if it led to Ghost's death and it doesn't for Rock, hey, you gotta look at things right there. For Rock. But I don't know. You know, let me know what you guys think of it all. Like, what if you think I'm crazy? You think maybe most of this doesn't make any sense? Or maybe you agree. And be like, hey, if she doesn't die and the little things that she's actually doing is somewhat similar to what Ghost did. Not did, but you know what I mean. But she's just doing things differently, then we're going to see from there. But, you know, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I catch you all in the next one.